Welcome to the channel. My name is Matthias. Today we're going to talk about Jonathan Hickman's Inferno, and we're going to cover issues 2 and 3. So at the end of the first issue, we had the surprise return of Destiny, and we have this major power move by Mystique that not only has made Destiny's return known, she's trying to get her on the Quiet Council now. This is in direct opposition of what Xavier and Magneto want. Both of these characters are in cahoots with Moira X, who no one knows is alive or hidden below Krakoa. And Moira does not want any precog on the island, especially Destiny. So first we discover how Mystique was able to bring back Destiny. Using her shape-shifting powers, she was able to steal one of Xavier's cerebral helmets. Then she's able to get Destiny's genetic material from Mr. Sinister, posing as Xavier. But the funny thing is that Nathaniel Essex totally knows who he's dealing with, but he rolls with it. He's like having fun with the whole situation. And then what happens is Mystique, again posing as Xavier, go to the Five, the ones responsible for the mutant resurrection process. She's able to trick them to bring back Destiny, and the whole scenario where she does this, that part of the story is actually really cool. At least for me, it's well written. This whole crossover itself, I feel like it's a real highlight within Hickman's run on X-Men. It is a real good bookend because Hickman is the only writer, in contrast with X of Swords, where you got the feeling that there were too many cooks in the kitchen there. So what happens is Mystique is able to bring back Destiny. She actually takes a while to get back on her 2 feet, having been resurrected. And after such a long time since her death, Destiny's precog powers sort of kick into overdrive, and it knocks her out for a while. So then we get the votation to see if Destiny is going to be able to get on the Quiet Council. So we get a flashback to how Mystique was able to negotiate with most of the members of the Quiet Council through a lot of political maneuvering to get their votes. Out of all the moments that we get in that moment of the story, her interaction with Exodus is the most interesting. It's very well done because it adds depth to his thought process. Then we get a moment that's going to be more important further down the line in the story, where we see Mystique steal this secret item from this secret society. Sorry, it sounds really redundant, but with that particular item, she's able to get White Queen's vote, which, spoilers, further down the line, we're going to discover it's Forge's mutant depowering gun, the classic one from way back in the 80s. So what happens is Magneto and Xavier go back to Moira. They give her the real bad news that Destiny is back from the dead. Moira totally loses it, and what ends up happening is that Xavier, to be able to regain more political power within Krakoan politics, tells Moira, look, we have to make a deal with the White Queen. You have to make yourself known to her. And this is going to really bite them in the ass, because what happens is when they do this first encounter between Moira and the White Queen, Emma Frost really gets pissed off over this whole situation. That it was kept secret that Moira was alive, that she was like the secret hand behind the creation of Krakoa. Also, she is taken aback by the arrogance of Xavier and Magneto. So what will happen politically with Emma Frost is that she's not going to align herself with Magneto and Xavier. She's going to do her own thing. Now, while all this is going down, we have this fascinating interaction between Nimrod and Omega Sentinel, where Nimrod actually realizes that Omega Sentinel is not from this time, that she's from the future. When Omega Sentinel realizes this situation, she spills the beans pretty quickly, because she realizes that Nimrod has evolved mentally to the point that she sees him as her equal. So she explains that, look, I am the original Omega Sentinel. I used to be an ally to the X-Men. And then she explains that the children of the Vault are going to break out at any moment. They're going to start an initial apocalypse, an all-out war with humanity and the mutants. And what's going to happen is we're going to have Apocalypse come back from Amenth, that weird hell dimension that he stayed in after the X of Swords. He's going to come with his kids, and they're going to enter a war with the children of the Vault, where they're going to come out on top. This will lead mutants to basically take over the world, push humanity to the brink of extinction. This will lead to the original Nimrod, the first one that we saw back in the 80s, to be teleported back into the past and try to stop this situation in the first place. Obviously, that Nimrod fails. And what happens is the Dominion version of the Phalanx arrived to Earth. It is not happy with the situation because we don't have the rise of AI taking over the world. So what they do is they find Omega Sentinel. They download a ton of information into her mind, basically obliterating her original personality. She's teleported back into the past. She stayed hidden in the shadows for many years, and what she did is that she is the one responsible for the creation of Orchis. She is also the one that found Dr. Devo and gave him all of his cybernetic enhancements. So then the story cuts to the very early days, to this whole experiment on Krakoa. We have Xavier arrive with Doug Ramsey, and he tells Doug, look, we want to create a mutant paradise. On this island, you have to be able to talk and communicate with it so we can make sure that it doesn't try to kill anyone and get to some type of arrangement. Now, for those who don't know, Doug Ramsey has a really interesting communication power, so he can understand and communicate in any language. And the thing is, due to the nature of Doug Ramsey, who I love how Hickman writes him, he's this really cool guy. He's able to start a friendship with Krakoa, and they have this arrangement that Krakoa will be able to feed off the psionic energy of everyone that's going to arrive in a way that it's not going to affect them, because we're going to have so many people on the island that Krakoa is going to be happy. It's going to be fed. And Doug also brings Warlock to the island. No one knows that he has brought him there. So Doug tells Krakoa, look, you're going to be happy, and if you can let Warlock feed off a little bit of your biomass, that would be great. It's going to be a win-win situation where Warlock and Krakoa are going to be able to feed. They're not going to hurt anyone. And what ends up happening is that Warlock and Krakoa are going to start to have like this symbiotic relationship. And this will lead to the fact that Doug Ramsey, thanks to this, will discover this secret place where Moira is hiding. Also, what will end up happening with Krakoa, due to the sheer amount of mutants on the island, he's going to have like this extra output of energy, and this will lead to Krakoa being able to create these Krakoan gates. So what happens next is that Emma Frost, really pissed off with Magneto and Xavier, goes directly to Mystique to see why they wouldn't want Destiny brought back from the dead. And what happens is when Emma peeks into Destiny's mind, she's able to see why Moira is afraid of Destiny and what had happened in different timelines. And that Moira's agenda in general seems to be very, very sketchy, that she's keeping something hidden from Xavier and Magneto. So what happens is no one knew that Moira was like escaping from Krakoa. She was doing something secret, I think somewhere in France. So what happens is Magneto and Xavier spring into action to rescue her, but when they arrive, they're able to escape, and they set up a situation that leads to Xavier and Magneto having to deal with basically an army of Orchis soldiers, and later on with Nimrod and Omega Sentinel. So we're going to leave this video here. I hope you guys liked it. See you guys next time. Bye.